to shut down. So we'll keep it where it is so that we can keep things moving and you guys don't drop off. So I'm Shane Snipes, and let's get this thing recording. Cool. Hi guys, I'm Shane Snipes, and you're watching Sustainable 1000 TV and radio. And sure enough, I'm here in Wisconsin, where I'm talking with the folks who are working in the area of educating people about sustainability out in smaller towns like Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is a medium-sized town for the state of Wisconsin, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they also do a lot of outreach into rural areas, which we'll be discussing a lot of in this piece, and having a conversation about how that relates to it. I'll also get your questions, so keep sending those over to me in my Facebook, and we'll get a couple more questions from you guys. Ask funny stuff. You've already made a couple of hilarious comments about Wisconsin, and of course they all have to do with cheese, so I really appreciate those. And I know Aaron appreciates them too. So Aaron LaFave is my, I want to say LaFave. LaFave is my guest today, and she works for the county here and for the extension office for the University of Wisconsin. She's an educator, and she has some really cool books, which we'll do a quick little preview of again, because you may have not have watched the other segment. So tell me about these books here, because I'm kind of interested in education and materials that actually support that.
Green Living Handbook. It says saving the planet one household at a time. That's what we're trying to do here in Eau Claire County. And the city and the county are on board doing some sustainability changes, and also the businesses are on board. They just have a green business initiative going on with the Chamber of Commerce. But what about the citizens? The citizens wanted to get involved and didn't really know what to do. So I found this fun workbook. Everybody says, where's the adult version? This one looks like a cartoon book. But this is the adult version. It's a lot of fun. And so the Empowerment Institute based in New York created this probably 20 years ago or so. And it's gone all over the world in different households. And so you just get a group of people together and you go through each chapter. They want you to put about 2 weeks in between each chapter. And you meet together and talk about how some of the activities worked in your house, or they didn't work, or you liked them, or you hated them. Or you just kind of support each other along in the process.
Right. And do you find that in that there's participation, that people don't approach it in a cynical way?
Right. Yes. I was trying to think of my answer there. They have a lot of fun with it, and it's not, you don't feel that pressure that you have to do it. If you start an activity and suddenly you think, I don't like this one, composting really isn't for me, or what have you, then you can stop it and try something different.
Right.
A lot of people will call each other up and say, you're still doing that, and kind of cheerlead them along. So it's a lot of fun for people. That's what I've heard.
And what's the recruitment strategy for you to get people involved?
Well, we wrote a grant. I wrote a grant, Wisconsin Environmental Education Board, and what happened is that money allowed me to hire somebody. And so that person they had devoted time to go only talk about the Green Living program, and because I have other responsibilities I need to do with my job as well. And what we found is a lot of faith-based communities picked it up. A lot of churches went gung-ho with it, and neighborhood associations, and some other groups, some youth groups picked it up as well, but mainly the faith community really picked it up.
Sure. Do you find that universities around and in different places, community colleges, are starting to participate in the work that you're doing here?
Yeah, we actually had some groups take place in the dorms on the Eau Claire campus here, the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire campus, and they found that the book was a little bit hard to use in a dorm setting. But the great thing about this book is it's really about just starting the conversation. If some of these activities don't work, hopefully you find new activities that you all can share in and start something different. But
sure. I saw a question earlier from Edgar in Wisconsin, and he had a question specifically about local food, and how do you think your work can help promote local food in this area?
Well, I get lots of questions every year on how to grow vegetables and about diseases and insects. So, in doing a lot more educational presentations within the community, I'm starting to do more of that. In the library, at schools, at senior centers, just teaching people how to grow their own food in their own yard, I think has really been beneficial in the local food movement in that terms. And also, I've seen an increase in new gardeners. They don't really know what to do, so there's lots of new education that needs to be done. And
Sure.
canning is increasing here too. Our family living educator has seen more requests for information on canning.
Sure. And do you guys come together and think about a strategy for, our goal with sustainability in Eau Claire is, to be carbon neutral by X, or to have a certain percentage of our food coming from local sources, or, are there benchmarks that you guys have before you so you understand kind of what your goal is?
I wouldn't say so much with the extension office because our goal is really to get the research-based information out to the general public. But the city and the county are doing that. In fact, the city of Eau Claire, the city of Altoona, where we're at right now, and the Eau Claire County just got a grant for making a plan of how they can be more not carbon neutral, but just more energy efficient. So there are, in the municipal setting, the county setting, they're really thinking about those benchmarks.
Sure, sure. And it's good to know that people are actually considering those pieces, because a lot of times I think in rural areas, people think that people don't care. Like, rural people aren't educated enough to care about it.
It's surprising. I can never make a judgment about somebody. You may think one person, by the way they look, they're very eco-friendly, and they're not. Or somebody who looks maybe uneducated is really very educated, self-educated, or just has these wonderful experiences about, they have great strategies for gardening or how to make their own soaps and things like that. So everybody has something to contribute, whether it's educational or just experience. It's been really an amazing process for me, because sustainability is so new that a lot of educators aren't doing that within extension, but it's starting to grow. So as an extension educator doing sustainability, it's been really a growing process to try to kind of figure out the path to take. It's been really fun.
And as far as other extension agents and other people in the field, is there a resource or someone to go to in the extension space to kind of pull people together and say, hey, here's how we can make your work in the extension office relate to sustainability? Because that's what sustainability is all about, is seeing those relationships.
Yes. Well, there's the sustainability team that the Wisconsin Extension has as a whole. There's a website, and I don't know that one off the top of my head, but it's the sustainability team for UW Extension. And then if you contact your local county educators, especially your agricultural agents or your CONRAD, which are community economic development. There's less horticulturists in extension than there are agricultural agents, but those are the people to contact.
Right. And to ask the tough question that I saw earlier from Teresa, which was, it seems, and I'll paraphrase what she said, because Teresa, thanks so much for your question, by the way, from Denver. It seems to me that farmers are stuck on using out-of-the-bottle solutions to the problems that they have in their farms and in rural situations, and a lot of situations like that, instead of spending the time to build the soil and build the relationship with it in those terms. Do you find that to be the case here? And if so, how do we get around it?
Yeah, there is kind of a certain, what we would call a traditional farming technique that most people seem to be using. They need to grow things quick, they need to get them out quick, and I think that's kind of where they're coming from. There are some really interesting farmers around here doing things, out of the box thinking, especially the CSAs, Community Supported Agriculture, really all about building the soil, doing integrative pest management. And I think a lot of farmers think that's hard. It takes more time, and what some of these new farmers doing these new things are finding, it's not that hard. And in fact, there's a lot of money-saving and time-saving techniques. So there's a grazer around here who has their